Welcome back to the School of the 13th Apostle. In our journey so far, we have shattered the illusion of wanting, exposed the biological trap of failure, and learned how to silence the analytical guardian of the brain through absolute stillness. Today, we stand before the great veil. We are stepping out of the biological vessel and entering the infinite, invisible machinery of the cosmos itself. We are going to decode the precise geometric and holographic matrix that translates your internal neural impulses into solid, physical matter. We are going to map the architecture of the lattice. To comprehend how your mind directly alters the fabric of the universe, you must abandon everything you were taught about space. Space is not empty air. It is not a sterile vacuum separating you from the objects around you. Space is a hyperdense, hyperdimensional, and perfectly organized grid of pure data, energy, and infinite potential. Jacobo Grinberg, through his groundbreaking Syntergic theory, defined this fundamental structure as the lattice. Imagine the lattice as a colossal, cosmic crystal lattice of light, stretching across the entirety of existence. It is a holographic matrix. In a true hologram, the whole is contained within every single part. This means that every microscopic point, every coordinates of empty space within your room, contains the complete blueprint of the entire universe. It contains every past that has ever been lived and every future timeline that could ever be chosen. Within this hyper-dense web, nothing is separate. The chair across the room, the distant star in the galaxy, and the neural networks inside your skull are all seamlessly woven into this singular, unbroken tapestry of information. When the universe is completely undisturbed, the lattice exists in a state of absolute symmetry, high density, and total coherence. It is pure, dormant potential. But what happens when an observer enters the field? This is where the magic of your biology meets the physics of creation. Your brain is a localized distortion of the lattice. It does not look at a pre-existing world. It decodes the universal data. When you think, when you feel, and when you hold a mental slide with absolute clarity in a state of deep theta stillness, your brain waves synchronize. Your heart, acting as the powerful oscillator mapped by Itzhak Bentov, creates a coherent wave. Together, the brain and the heart generate a powerful, invisible energy bubble known as the neuronal field. This neuronal field expands beyond your skull and collides directly with the universal lattice. It creates a localized distortion, an interference pattern in the cosmic matrix. What you perceive through your five senses as a solid, material reality, a table, a house, a pile of money, a disease, is not a solid object at all. It is simply the exact point of collision where your personal neuronal field distorts the symmetry of the lattice. Physical reality is a perceptual crystallization born from the distortion of the grid. If your internal field is chaotic, fractured, and full of doubt, you create a distorted, chaotic interference pattern, forcing the lattice to materialize a fractured, unstable life. But if your neuronal field is perfectly coherent, unified, and single, you reshape the geometric coordinates of the lattice with surgical precision. But the matrix is even more sophisticated than Grinberg initially mapped. As your neuronal field begins to alter the local geometry of the lattice, it does not act in absolute isolation. It begins to resonate with unseen collective blueprints that govern the natural world. It begins to brush against the hidden boundaries of what we call morphic fields. These morphic fields are non-physical, organizing matrices that hold the collective memory, habits, and shapes of all things in existence. Every species, every behavioral pattern, and every state of consciousness has its own morphic field. They act as invisible blueprints that guide the density of the lattice into specific shapes and realities. When you attempt to manifest a new life, you are not just trying to move a single molecule. You are trying to plug your personal neuronal field into a powerful, pre-existing morphic field of abundance, health, or mastery. If you remain trapped in the collective morphic field of humanity's fear and scarcity, the lattice will effortlessly snap back into its old, limited shape. But when you build an ironclad internal focus, your mind breaks free from the collective gravity, aligning itself with a higher morphic blueprint of sovereign creation. This cosmic geometry is why Neville Goddard insisted that you must completely ignore the evidence of your physical senses. Your physical senses are only capable of reporting the delayed, crystallized echoes of your past neuronal fields. If you look at your current lack and react to it, you are using a distorted neuronal field to look at a distorted lattice, mathematically ensuring that the grid remains frozen in that exact painful configuration. You are trapped in the mirror. To command the geometry of the universe, you must practice the art of Syntergy. You must close your physical eyes, activate your single inner eye, and hold your chosen mental slide with absolute, unshakable stillness. As you embody the precise feeling of your wish already fulfilled, you are mathematically altering the density of the universal grid around you. You are choosing a different set of coordinates within the holographic matrix. You are instructing the lattice to collapse that specific timeline into your immediate physical experience. Jesus of Nazareth spoke directly of this holographic grid when he delivered the esoteric truth: the kingdom of God is within you and all around you. He was not speaking of a geographical kingdom in the clouds. He was describing the lattice. He was revealing that the field of infinite potential is closer than your very breath, entirely responsive to the state of your inner temple. The universe is not out there waiting for you to conquer it. It is an invisible, hyper-responsive web of light waiting for the command of a coherent observer. Stop trying to force the external world to change through physical struggle. Step into the absolute center of the matrix, master the Syntergy of your neuronal field, and let the geometry of the lattice bend effortlessly to your sovereign will.